Good morning. I am Dr. Jacquelyn Kelly, and I am Associate Dean in the College of General Studies, and also the mother of a Montessori kindergartner who is at home right now. I am hoping to provide you some homeschooling tips for your little ones during this tough time. So this is me and my family. It's probably an accurate representation of what we look like right now. And I have a 5-year-old, an 18-month-old, and my husband and I are at home trying to balance working from home and homeschooling our 5-year-old. So let's get started. Students are at school 6 hours a day, but that does not mean that they are working at a desk or getting direct instruction for 6 hours. For K through 5, developmentally, this age group really is only needing 1 to 2 hours of direct instruction for the entire day. And so take a deep breath. You are not required to get your student to sit down for 6 hours and work on things. 1 to 2 hours of direct instruction is all they need. And for the lower grades, 1 is about maximum for them. So there are also multiple theories for learning that show that learning doesn't mean sitting at a desk and copying things or sitting at a desk and doing worksheets. Learning can look like play, intentional play, practical life skills. It can look like discussion and questioning, and it can look like exploring outside. So don't worry if your student is really averse to sitting down and working on a worksheet or something like that. That's not the only way to learn. We can support them lots of different ways. So what, based on that, should an average day look like? Well, for our family, eating takes up about 25% of the day, and I wish I was exaggerating. Independent play should really drive students' days at this age. We want them to learn to play independently, create independently, imagine, and be able to do things by themselves to keep themselves occupied. Of the other time of the day, practical life work, outdoor exploration, math and language work, and physical activity can encompass about an hour each. So how do you get started deciding how to build your day? First, think about you. What do you need to do every day to help set boundaries? Do you need to be on a conference call first thing every morning? Do you need to have 2 hours of quiet isolation work time for yourself to get things done at 2 p.m. every day? Start by setting the non-negotiables for you so that you can fit in to the other parts, the times when you might be able to support your little one. Because remember, if they're going to be doing independent play for quite a bit, you have a lot of flexibility of when you need to structure their non-negotiables in. And then once you've figured out what you need to do, determine what's non-negotiable for them. What needs to happen every day at these times? Then what needs to happen every day but can happen at variable times? And then what doesn't have to happen every day but can happen if the student wants it to? Take the time in the beginning to really set these expectations with your student. Take the time to really talk about what these non-negotiables mean versus what these variable things mean versus what independent play means. If you can really invest in setting these expectations up front and collaboratively, hopefully, with your student, then you're more likely to be successful as they implement them. Next, really set up a location in the house for your student to work that's theirs, that they can own. So if you can, work together to help create a space for them that they're really proud of. Is it an actual desk? Is it the dining room table that kind of gets transformed in this special way during work time? Is it a yoga mat on the floor that is theirs that they get to pick where they put every day? You know your child best, so you'll be able to pick and help decide what really works for them. But do it with them and help them get excited about their workspace so they know that they are happy to go there each day to do their things. Also, if you can, try to limit screen time as much as possible. The recommendations for this age group is less than 1 hour per day, and it certainly has impact on students' emotional health. So if you can, try your best to limit screen time to less than 1 hour per day. So here is our schedule. You can use it as an example. Our non-negotiables are food. Food is super important because if my little one doesn't eat, or me, we get kind of hangry, so food has to be a non-negotiable. So breakfast is up at 7 a.m. and I'm not waking anyone up. That's our natural wake-up time in our family. Then after breakfast, we are going to do practical life work immediately. We need to do some dishes or cleaning. And then from there on out, really anything else that's non-negotiable are the snack times and the lunch times and the dinner times. The variable items, things that have to happen each day but can happen at any time each day, are one 30-minute block of language work, one 30-minute block of math work, 1 hour of physical activity, but certainly broken up into smaller pieces if needed, 1 hour of outdoor exploration also can be broken up, and independent play to fill in all the other pieces throughout the day. So I've been referencing these works. What does work look like? Work doesn't have to look, like we said before, one way. So here's some examples of what our workstations look like. I have some language works up, some of our math works, some of our practical life, and some of our outdoor works here. So we want students to work on these works in the blocks, in 30-minute blocks for my case, independently. So how do we get them to do that? For each type of work, math, language, practical life, create 4 to 5 options of works for each type. So 4 different things they can do within that category. Make sure that in the beginning you're picking works that are pretty easy for them, because this whole adjustment in schedule is a big shift by itself. So we want them to feel really positive and develop confidence about the works in the beginning. And then as they get comfortable, you can start increasing the complexity. Make sure also there is always at least one work in the options that they love for each type of work. So for math, if my little one, he absolutely loves playing with shapes. So there's always a work that has to do with shapes in there, because I know every day if he doesn't want to do anything else, I know he'll play with the shapes work for math. I like to put each type of work in a tray or a basket so that when I get out all the math works, I can get out 4 trays or 4 baskets of math work. You don't have to do this, but I find it's an easy strategy for organizing. When you first bring out any new work, make sure you demonstrate it to your student, show them how it works, ask them if they have any questions, help them do it the first few times so that later they can do it by themselves. For each work time, so I set a 30-minute timer minimum. However, if my little one wants to go longer than 30 minutes for any work block, he is always welcome to do so. That's just the minimum amount. So I set the timer, get out the works for that category, and then say, all right, you have 30 minutes. You can work on any of these works in any order for any amount of time you'd like. And when the timer is done, you have a choice to be done with this work if you'd like. So for math, he would have his 30 minutes to work in any combination of the 4 to 5 math works for any time. Sometimes that might mean he does one type of math work the whole time, and that's okay. Sometimes he might do all of them for 2 minutes, but go through the rotation 2 or 3 times, and that's okay too. So what are some examples? Here are some examples of some math works that students might like. Tangrams, things to count and categorize, playing cards to put in order from big to small, groups of items to count, to write the numbers, dominoes, age-appropriate math workbook. Lots of simple ideas. They don't have to be complex. And if you want some more ideas, you can search online with the key terms Montessori math works. And there's lots of ideas. Same thing for language, does not have to be complicated. You can use a language workbook, certainly if you'd like, an alphabet or word puzzle, books to read, a blank journal to write or illustrate a story for the day, word cards or magnets to make sentences, a matching game that maybe you make. Or what I have my little one doing in this picture is actually highlighting the words that he sees on the cards in the magazine. So that does not take a lot of work to do. Here's a magazine, which is a car magazine. Find all the thes and highlight them. More ideas, you can search for Montessori language works. Practical life works. Anything you do practically in your life is a practical life work for your little one. And the more complex the process, the more complex the work. So start simple. The thing I like to remind people for this is they're probably not going to do it the way you would have done it. And that's okay. Be patient, focus on the outcome. My little one doing dishes does not look like me doing dishes. My little one folding laundry certainly does not look like me folding laundry, but that's okay. We would still praise them for the outcome. Some example of outdoor works: gardening, picking fruit, sidewalk chalk, scavenger hunts, watching birds, lizards, and bugs and journaling them, taking a walk, charting the weather, charting the moon, and some independent work time, independent play works that you might have to fill in the day. Arts and crafts, puzzles, Legos, blocks, wooden trains, kinetic sand, games that are like motor skill related, like operation, or memory related, like Simon, balance boards, pillows, cardboard box decorating. Anything that would be fun to do in an arts and crafts or just relaxing situation are perfect for those. So if you want to do works which we've outlined, that's fantastic. And if you don't, that's also okay. You can boost your students' cognition just by talking to them certain ways. So think about all the times we just hand out answers or we give them orders. If we can reframe those into questions and discussions, we are moving them to an increased complexity of thinking and responding, especially with this age group. I like to use Socratic questioning, and so I've highlighted a few different types of questions that you can ask under that. You can certainly check online for the other types of questions. My favorite question to ask little ones are questions of clarification. How do you know? What do you mean when you say this? Tell me more about. You'll be in shock with what you find if you just ask your little one that after they've told you something. You can ask them questions about their assumptions or questions of evidence. Well, give me an example. What causes that? Or questions of perspective. How might that change? Or how might someone else come up with something different? How is this similar to A or B? Well, kids will be kids. So regardless what we do, there's also some common challenges we face with little ones. So do you have the all-day snacker? If they're eating you out of house and home because they're bored, try a daily snack box ration. So put out all the snacks in the beginning in a box. This is your snack allotment for today. You choose when you want to eat your snacks. I will provide you breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But once your snacks are gone, there's no more snacks, just our main meals. Do you have an all-day questioner, a student who's asking questions all day you can't get any independence out of? Try giving them a question allotment. So give them 5 clothespins. Here's 5 questions you can use for the 30-minute work session. You choose when you want to ask me a question, but I get to keep a clothespin every time. Once you're out of clothespins, I will not answer any more questions until your work time is over. Do you have the I'm bored child? Work together to develop new independent works with them. Help them come up with the works, and hopefully you can get some buy-in. Do you need more structure for your job? Try setting an off-limits boundary in one of your workspaces, and don't go there all the time. You have to save this for when you really need it. But set down blue masking tape on the floor, or caution tape, or streamers, or wear a funny hat. Something that physically your student will be able to see that, oh, when mom is wearing this or in this place inside the box, I cannot talk to her until she's done and out of the box or not wearing that thing. Do you have little ones at home? Multiple little ones? Try having independent works be defined as independent from the caretaker. So independent of mom for us. They can do them together. So 2-person works, or 3, depending on how many you have. So that during those independent play times, they're keeping each other occupied. Does your student keep asking for one type of work, one particular one? Well, make that one set every day. So if it's the language work, your student always just wants to do language work. Okay, don't worry. We're going to set that as a non-negotiable. Every day at 11 a.m., we will do language work. So they don't have to ask you for it, so they know when it's coming. Are they missing their friends? Schedule video chat for them and sit back and watch, because I've observed a few 5-year-old Zooms lately, and they are comical. And are you losing your sanity as a parent? Me too. Hang in there. You are not alone, and this is not forever. So let's sum it up. School does not have to mean sitting in desks. This age group only needs 1 to 2 hours of instruction per day. Create a schedule, develop a plan that works, initially provide support to your student, and then release towards independence. Limit screens if you can. It will help you in the long run. Ask lots of questions of your student, and be proud of yourself. You are more than enough for your student right now. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and we are here to help you. So hang in there. I hope you have a great one, and this has been helpful.